Hey JJ, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm David Bales. I'm a writer for Clips Nation, the SB Nation site. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
No problem.
First off, how your legs feeling? I'm sure you're tired coming off that back to back.
Oh, I feel fine, man.
Yeah.
I feel fine. My body's conditioned to this now.
All right on. Good to hear. So let's just start with your partnership with Dove Men+Care. I was wondering if you could just talk a bit about the Real Winners Care campaign and kind of why it's important to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to partner with Dove Men+Care on this campaign. For me, I've always had sort of a sense of my place in the game and understanding that I'm part of something much bigger than myself. And I think whether you're a player or a fan or a coach, alumni, whatever, this campaign really speaks to everyone. And the Real Strength Manifesto, which is available on Dove Men+Care's website, is just kind of about that message, a unifying message about care and passion, and about understanding sort of everyone's place in the game and how important fans are to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I know you weren't always necessarily the most popular guy in opposing arenas in college.
Yeah.
Are some of those personal experiences why you got involved in the first place?
Oh, no question. The campaign hit home with me for sure.
Yeah.
As much as the negative experiences I had in college, with opposing fans,
mm-hmm.
Sort of played a role in that. I think the positive experiences probably outweighed that. I was fortunate to play in front of the Cameron Crazies for 4 years and got to witness sort of their passion, 65, 70 times, however many home games I had. And then playing in the NCAA tournament and playing the ACC tournament, being a part of March Madness, like being at these big arenas and looking out in the crowd and seeing, a sea of Duke blue or now a sea of Northwestern purple. It's just really cool. And you see just how much fans and alumni care about their schools and about the game. So as much as it was the negative experiences, the positive was really a motivating factor as well for this.
Yeah, awesome. And on the topic of March Madness, I think I know who you probably got going all the way this year. What do you think of Duke's chances?
We have a chance. I don't know that there's been a dominant team in college basketball. I think probably Kansas, of the bigger schools, is probably I think the best one seed. And then Gonzaga's had a special season.
Yeah.
But I think Duke has a chance, and with all we've been through this year with injuries and Grayson's suspension and Coach K being out, we're playing our best basketball at the right time, and I think you have to have pros to win the championship, and we have pros on our team, and we have a great coach, so I think we have a good chance.
Yeah, for sure. You guys also have a strong North Carolina presence in the locker room between Ray Felton, rookie Bryce Johnson. Do you guys have many opportunities to watch games together? And is there any friendly trash talk that ensues if you do?
I have a standing bet with every teammate. Our schools play against each other. There's a $100 bet.
Okay.
Wager. So I made a little bit of money off the UNC guys. We also have Pat Sullivan who coaches us, and he played at UNC in the '90s. I usually make a lot of money off Chris. Wake Forest hasn't been very good the last few years.
Yeah, I'm sure you love that.
Ray Felton did tell me that if somehow Duke and UNC were to meet in the national championship game, we'd have to up our wager a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah, it only seems fair. Right on. Sounds fun. All right, so if we could move on to the Clippers, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
I know you were frustrated in your post-game comments last night. You said you don't know what to expect from this team anymore. I'm just wondering, was there something about last night's game in particular that kind of elicited that reaction from you?
It was more the question that elicited the response.
Okay.
The question was, what do you expect of this team? What did you expect going into tonight?
Right.
And how do you answer that? I mean, we've been really inconsistent with our play since All-Star break.
Sure.
So that's why I said I don't know what to expect from this team.
Got it.
It's just that the question elicited the response.
Yeah, for sure. And, what are you looking to see? What do you feel like you need to see in the next 13 games to kind of feel confident heading into the playoffs?
I think health, for sure.
Yeah.
I think if everybody's healthy, that's probably step one. I'm a big believer in sort of the winning cures all. It's like the sort of the perfect Band-Aid to any problem. So,
Right.
I'd love it if, we went on a 5 or 6 game winning streak over the next couple weeks. And I think that would help things. As much as people can say it's personnel or chemistry or whatever, like you have to have the right spirit to play, and let's just be honest. I mean, when you lose games and you're not playing consistently, it's hard to have the right spirit. I mean,
Yeah.
you start winning, that helps the spirit out. So that's probably the biggest thing. It's just making sure we're healthy and getting our spirit right.
Definitely. Yeah, and you mentioned injuries, and obviously have played a huge role in your guys' season and kind of things being so up and down. I think expectations were pretty high once the squad was fully healthy, right? And you guys were getting Chris and Blake back. Clearly, you're still working out some kinks, and I'm just kind of curious what that process is like of reintegrating those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened. It happened a little bit. My first year here, Chris missed some time.
Mm-hmm.
With his shoulder injury, I was hurt for most of the year. Then Blake got hurt in March and missed a chunk of time. My second year, last year, Blake was out a while, and then they both got hurt in the playoffs. This year, both Chris and Blake had longer injuries. So it just seems like it's something we've had to do every year. And so I think maybe there was a little bit of an expectation, post All-Star break that getting Chris back and being completely healthy, that it would just sort of be seamless. But as you've seen, man, it's there's a lot of moving parts to this game, and there's a lot of things happening on the court with other teams. Everybody's trying to fight for playoff position, and it hasn't been easy. And we've got the personnel and the makeup to figure it out, but it's just taking a little bit more time than expected.
Definitely. And so as the regular season winds down, I'm curious how much attention you guys kind of collectively are paying to the standings. So is that something that you guys talk about in the locker room? Is that something that Doc talks about? How does that factor in at this point of the season?
There's no discussion of like who you want to play or like trying to
right.
Like game the system to get the 5 seed or the 6 seed or
Sure.
the 4 seed. Like we're trying to play good basketball and we're trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, we'd love to have home court advantage in the first round. We have a lot of work to do if we're going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you had asked me that in November, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah.
But, that's just kind of how this season has been. It's been a really weird season.
Yeah, definitely. And so with Steve Ballmer, you guys have kind of embraced some of the sports science, the developments, and you've been resting guys as we saw last night with Blake and DJ. I'm curious kind of what your thoughts are on kind of this new trend of resting as a competitor, and also kind of how that affects your preparation for a game where you're going to be kind of shorthanded.
In terms of being shorthanded, I don't think the preparation's any different because you're always going to have sort of injuries or rest or whatever it may be. Like you just have to play who's ever available. That doesn't really change.
Yeah.
In terms of like the trend of resting guys across the league, I think from a player's perspective, I like it in a sense that I think it will help with recovery and rest and keeping guys fresh and ultimately. Making guys' careers longer, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
We can continue to earn a living well into our 30s, which is, I don't think any player is going to complain about that. The flip side of that, of course, is with fans. I mean, fans are spending their hard-earned money on tickets or to have a subscription to Turner or ESPN or League Pass, and we're trying to deliver an awesome product and when you choose to rest players, you're devaluing the product. I mean, from a business side, I certainly get that argument and get that complaint that people have made with this trend. But I think for me, it's a trend that I think needs to happen and needs to continue to happen. And I'm all for it. But the only other thing I'll say is, I think sometimes when you're in a rhythm, and this game is so much about a rhythm, sometimes you have a rest day and it takes you out of your rhythm.
Right.
And I feel like that's what happened to me a little bit.
Yeah.
When I had my one rest day, I felt like I'm coming off a great game.
Right.
It took 4 or 5 games to get that rhythm back.
Yeah, gotcha. So, it's no secret there's a lot of uncertainty with the roster heading into this summer. How much of an impact do you foresee kind of this year's playoff run having on how everything shakes out?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the player side of it is each player kind of has to make his decision and based on what's best for him and his family, and then from the team side, the team has to decide the route they want to go and whether they want to bring everybody back, and whatnot. And I think a lot of that decision making on both sides will be based upon how we do in the playoffs and how we perform in the playoffs.
Sorry to jump in. I think we have time for about one more question.
One more? Okay, great. Yeah, so I guess something a little less basketball related. As a big fan of the podcast, I got to ask when you're going to be coming back with it, and if you have any guests that you're particularly excited about having on.
Yeah, I'm going to come back at some point after the season, and I don't know whether that will be in the first couple weeks after the season, or if it'll be closer to after July 1st. I want to get through sort of this year, the regular season, the playoffs, and free agency. That's sort of my focus right now, and as well as sort of being a dad, and that was partially why I had to take a break. It just didn't have the time and energy to invest properly in the podcast, and it was really important to me that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it right. And the second kid kind of changed the dynamics of time management in my life. So
I'm sure
that's kind of why I had to take a break. But yeah, I'll have a podcast in some form very soon. And if I had to say one guess, like I maybe potentially a big time Hollywood icon in the comedy genre. Somebody in that nature may be coming on the podcast soon.
Okay, little teaser there. All right.
Who also happens to be a huge sports fan.
Okay, all right. I'll try to do some detective work then.
And maybe likes to get drunk in clubhouses.
All right. Sounds like an entertaining guest then. All right, man. Well, thanks again for your time. I appreciate it, and good luck with Cleveland tomorrow night.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right. Yeah.